Happy Tuesday! It is Oberon Solo Slime Rancher. One of the most adorable games you will ever play. Don't mind me just losing health because I'm jumping underneath rock slimes. That's my fault. They did not do that to me. I did that to myself. Do not blame the rock slimes. Alright, what's over here? Oh, he's a big one! I'm gonna feed you a chicken because you're a kitty cat. Okay, that had less impact than I was hoping. That's okay though. Ah. There we go. Sucking up the floor. So many chickens. 2 different kinds of chickadoos. Cool. Not that I want them, I can't feed them to slimes right now, and I need money, so I need things that I can feed to slimes. No, don't eat all the chickens! They're my chickens. Yeah. So, as promised at the end of last episode, I'm gonna start deep diving on Big Eye, Small Mouth, otherwise known as BESM, which is a role-playing game published by Guardians of Order, and it used what they dubbed the tri-stat system. Everything was point buy, there wasn't really an easy way to do any levels, and it was very anime. I'm just gonna say it was very anime. This, in fact, is not a bad thing. For what it was and what it did, it was an excellent little system. There were catastrophic balance issues across, I think, every iteration of it. But I know I played version 2, which was the small green book, and I also played and ran version 3, or no, 2.5, which was a small blue book that was edited and adjusted some numbers and wording issues from the first, from regular version 2. Jesus. Tabbies, why? No, I cannot. Okay. Well, I gotta sell off some floor. So, that's the system we're talking about. Had a very simple character creation process of the DM sets how many points you can spend. You spend that many points, first on stats, then on abilities, then on skills. You can take defects for more points, but the defects, for the most part, were so catastrophically bad in the original that you never really wanted more than 1 or 2. Unless it was... Oh my god. No, well, I'm sorry, but you've got to be set out to pasture. Bye. But yes, the details were so... the defects were so catastrophically bad that most of them you couldn't stand taking the higher level version of it. You're never going to get more than like a solid 10 points in defects without hamstringing your character. And the point ranges usually were somewhere between 20 and 50. I ended up usually running on the higher end of that scale just because I liked working out the system, seeing what it could do. And because I like ridiculously overpowered anime characters, because, come on, I grew up in the age of Goku. Like, that's what we all want. Funny enough, I never made a brawler like Goku. I always made, like, the crazy tech genius like Washu or something in this system. It was a good system, but there was a lot that broke down after just a little bit of scrutiny. You really had to have an agreement with your table to not try to do the optimal thing. Because there was an optimal thing, which is a problem. And because it kind of takes the fun out of the game, In that way, when I'm sure you've all had it, where you've played a game where there was so much focus on stats and min-maxing from one character that it ruined out everyone else's playing experience. Just because the stats were so hard that any challenge that could challenge them didn't even just totally and utterly destroyed anyone else in the party. Usually that's handled with social on my end. That's how I overcome that. Because, yeah, usually if they're a stat monster, they're a stat monster for combat, and sometimes they can do social if they're a bard. But in general, oh. Do I wonder if I have 8 to turn it in. 6. Where are the rest of them? Did they die? Oh well. Time to get some chickens. But BESM got that same way too. Their numbers were not the greatest. Like, either you were one-shotting things or not taking damage after a certain point. Because, you know, their armor values just directly reduce the amount of damage you would take. So once you have, like, armor 20, any attack that does less than 20 damage just does nothing. So you can't even really, like, wear someone with high armor down. You gotta make up a new ability to break the armor, use weapon attack, which is its own clusterfuck, to take the piercing thing to ignore armor, in which case they go, well, why did I even spend the points? Or find some happy middle ground where you creatively put like a poison or an irradiation on a weapon. But you're not getting around it in the main system. You have to customize to get it. Once the armor value gets too high. Your other issues are weapon attack, which is the level for, or is the proposed ability for any special attack you may want to take, from key strikes to like magic attacks to anything. Now they did have a magic ability, but that was just giving you extra points so you could take specific weapon attacks. It was just points for points, and I'll get to that in a bit. I didn't get any chickens. I'm a bad rancher. But anyway, so weapon attack was pretty broken as a concept, and also its damage increased by 15 points for every level, so come on! The math is just a pain in the ass until you played it long enough that you memorized every multiplicative of 15. Like, oh, yeah, you're level 5, that's 75 damage, got it. But you couldn't do 10s, guys, or 5s. They did 5s with massive damage, which was your other alternate for just doing regular attacks, to making specific types of regular attacks deal a little bit of extra damage. But that was the other thing, is they had 3 or 4 ways to do any one thing, and they were in no way close to balanced on a point-per-point basis. And once you capped out one, you'd just move on to the next, so that you could keep jacking up the stat that's already way too high. So the only way this game worked is if everyone made an agreement of, you know, we're gonna stick in this range of attack damage and this range of hit points. We're not going overboard with any of it. And then, yeah, making special case-by-case determinations if there's a call for it. But oh, why am I picking these? I need to be getting chickens. I'm dumb. There we go. There. Free up some room for some chickens. I know there are chickens over here. That's a chicken. Chicky, chicky. Where did all the chickens go? They got eaten by slimes, that's what happened. Anyway. I mean, and other versions had problems with scale as well. Their ideas were great. Like, what you could do with weapon attack, all the different bells and whistles you could attach to it, and what it let you do after the fact was really interesting. But, when you go into something like, I don't know, BESM D20, which was a mod made to use the BESM rule set in an anime setting with the D20 standard rules that were popular at the time. Which, I mean, now if you want to feel old D20 rules, just, you know, play Pathfinder. There you go. But in BESM D20, they had additional problems. Because, you know, you would go by rolling up your stats. You'd start by rolling up your stats. Oh my god, big pink cat, you're out. So you roll up your stats, right? Then you take your defects, then you take your attributes, or not attributes, your special abilities, and then you do your skills. So the optimal route for anyone playing BESM D20 oh my god, I need higher walls. Yes, please. There we go. No! Fine. This is how we're gonna do it then. This is now the pink slime hut. This is now the kitty slime hut. Alright. So, the way you really had to do it, you would roll, and then you would take the defect of unskilled. Right? Because you roll and you pick your class, yada yada, and you get a certain number of skill points for your intelligence score. You give up all of your skill points at level 1. You take that defect as many times as you have skill points. And then, when you take attributes, you take, basically, at a one-for-one basis, increased intelligence to make up for the skill points you lost. The net is 0 character points difference, 0 skill points difference, but an intelligence of 24 instead of 17. So yeah, D20 is ridiculously broken. That was just me casually looking at it going, I could do this. If they let you iterate more, you can get infinite intelligence. If somebody says, oh yeah, you can take attributes and defects in the same step. Okay. I'll just dither back and forth until I have infinite intelligence and 50 skill points. So, take it from me, the numbers in BESM are broken. They need some massaging. On top of that, their biggest problem is for any roll, you are adding a skill to an attribute, which is body, mind, or soul. and you're rolling 2d6 under the number that you added up. That was it. This immediately puts a cap on how high any stat is before it becomes irrelevant, and how good you can be at any skill before it doesn't matter because you will just always succeed. Then you go, oh, well, you can make things harder with toughness and challenge, increase the challenge rating of the roll and subtract from their dice. And I go, that's stupid. This was in the time of 3.5. Just say, create a toughness rating, add your body, add your skill, add your roll. Please, everything, addition. It doesn't seem like it matters because subtraction isn't that hard, but when you're doing a lot of different skill rolls or doing a lot of different things, just knowing that higher is better in general makes it so much easier to make a call. It's what else was super broken about it? Well, attributes only went to level 6. Now, I get that. That's because the power scale is supposed to be from 20 to 50 points, and you really don't want someone buying like 10 levels in an attribute with a stat problem, but they also had a lot of flavor attributes, like Kensai. What Kensai was is an ability that said basically pick a feat from this list of feats and you get it. And they had like 10 different things. So I'm not getting a numbers benefit from getting extra levels in Kensai. I'm getting a feat, but I can only ever have 6. That kind of feels weird when the real problem is the numbers, not the feats. A lot of interesting choices made, and I love the system. So next time on Oberon Solo's Slime Rancher, I'm going to go into some of the ways that I pushed and pulled and fixed the system. I'm going to touch on all those little tricks that I did to make things interesting. And I think I'm going to start with stats and skills. Next time on Oberon Solo's Slime Rancher.
The wind howled at the washboard, sleeping underneath.